Good evening, everybody. Sadly, the intro music didn't work, which is a shame because I think it's quite a good tune.
We tried everything we could, didn't we, to get it working?
Everything.
My hair's bad. It's been a long day.
But welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining. Thank you to as always, for joining. This is a last-minute stream. I'm a bit tipsy, actually.
Third one of these on a Wednesday night.
But it's been absolute chaos this game week, so do let me know. Oh, thanks, Az. For goodness sake, honestly. Thank you.
Bit of a theme of your streams, isn't
I
it?
thought
Hearing
I was
yourself.
doing so well not having any backing tracks in this one. But do let me know in the chat what has happened with your game week, because mine has been absolutely chaotic. I've had highs, I've had lows, and I don't really know where I am, if I'm honest. How's yours gone?
I'm on a red arrow with no players left.
Fantastic.
Good.
I've already seen some negative comments in the chat, so I think we're in quite good company this evening. Talking of good company, we have got Ross.
There he is.
No hair. Thank you, Ross.
What did I say to you just before the stream started?
He was going to put on a backwards cap.
I was going to put on a backwards cap just for you, Ross. Yep.
We've got Jake, 21 points with Kudus and Areola left to play. Who else is in
Jesus,
your team?
hang on a minute. That is bad.
That is shocking.
21 points.
This is a safe space. This is the place to be. We have got Dan says, rumour has it Darwin's still hitting the post.
Remember I said I had a stat about Darwin?
Oh, you're going to release it early?
Yeah. I mean, it's not my stat. It was tweeted out. He set the record for the most times a player's hit the post in one game with 4. Yep.
I thought that penalty, what was that? He's had such a good track record with penalties, hasn't he? He's never missed a penalty. And then this week...
So we talked about it, didn't we? He's scored 12 in 12 in his career. I'm biased because I've seen McAllister take penalties for my Brighton side for a whole year.
My Brighton side.
And he was unbelievable at them. Like, we had a huge problem in that area. He came in, took the penalties. That wasn't a problem for us anymore. Just give him the penalties. Stop messing around with Darwin bloody Nunes. I don't care how good his record is. Yeah. That man is cursed in front of the goal. Give it to McAllister if he's on the pitch.
I think also this game, I'll be honest, I was actually quite smug that he missed because obviously they were playing Chelsea and I couldn't have celebrated that penalty if it had gone in. But it was quite funny. It's a very, very unfortunate. Cameron says, who else is celebrating the Darwin hat-trick? It's what we deserve, I think. But obviously, he is going to go from getting a brace last game week to just completely... Well, he did all right. We didn't get -2. We got 2 points.
It's the most Darwin way of getting 2 points, isn't it?
Yeah. Any other player just turns up, plays and goes. Whereas Darwin, there's always something. Tony says, hey, you beautiful pair. Hello, Tony. How have you gotten on this week with your team? Let us know what's gone on.
Oh, there's some good scores coming in. You're not welcome here with good scores.
36 is Neto goalkeeper to play.
That one's all right.
Justin, 66 with 2 to play. Areola and Solanke. 71 with Areola left. 54, 2 left, Bowen and Solanke. I mean,
they're good. I'm on... What you... Well, we'll come to your team in a minute.
What are you on?
I think we're on about the same.
Interesting.
I'm on 45 and you're on 45.
I'm on 45?
Yeah.
Go on.
There you go. Exactly the same points with completely different teams.
Tony says, oh, VAR. I saw the first one that Chelsea should have got a penalty, and then you saw the second one because I was setting this up.
I'm sorry, this whole Liverpool thing is after that Spurs game when Liverpool literally scored a goal and they just didn't give it, which has never happened before in football. I feel like the Liverpool thing is a bit overdone.
But do it for the pun. Chelsea-Liverpool doesn't work, does it?
To be fair. We have had too many of these.
69! Ross, we saw your tweets about that. That was rude. This is a family channel. 60 with Bowen to go. 21k, a record for me. Nice one. That's really, really decent. Blimey, there are some mixed scores, but everyone seems pretty strong, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm on 45.
48 with 2 to play. Should we get this one out of the way? Hey guys, I need your thoughts on Walkergate I'm so switched off from leaks and things. No one tells me anything. If they did, I'd probably panic and delete my Twitter. So everyone's going to be here for Az's opinion. So do you want to have the floor?
I'm just glad that it's not me in the spotlight for a change. It's normally me, with all these things.
The only time you've ever had a leak, it was wrong.
Yeah. Well, this is it. This is like the thing, isn't it? Like everyone gets really annoyed with people for holding leaks or telling leaks or whatever. There's never a right answer because I had a leak about Livramento starting. I shared it with a few people. I started him, and then it was rubbish. It turned out he didn't start, and it was awful. So You have got to be careful, especially when you get leaks so close to the deadline, because that's when like panic happens. And yeah,
I spend a week thinking about my team, and I have a last-minute panic in the final 15
Yeah,
ahead of a deadline.
exactly.
Let alone if I got a leak.
but I think that's what's happened with Mark, is that he's got a good defence of 3 players that he wanted to play. He's heard a rumour that Walker isn't playing, and he hasn't taken the risk, and he's benched him. And I think anyone would have done the same thing in that situation. So I think it's been massively overblown. There's not some Illuminati content creator club that we're all in.
Some of the tweets, though, I must say, I appreciate the stress in the situation, but some of the tweets have been so good.
Yeah, they have. Some of them have been good, but then a lot of people have taken it the wrong way, and Mark's been pretty upset by the whole thing. And I spoke to him today, and you feel for him because he's just a nice guy that wants to play fantasy football and do a pod, and he's getting accused of all these things. So
and the outrage on Twitter as well.
Yeah, I think people
dominated.
need to let off a little bit. And like he's missed out anyway, so everyone's getting the bench points regardless. So even if Mark had played him, it'd be exactly the same situation. So I just didn't get over it, everyone. But yeah, that's me.
Bless him. Well, that is as is section done. Is this our Phil? Phil B?
No.
Oh, sorry, Phil. That's going to sound weird to you. We've got our Phil that we went for a Sunday roast with. Looks like Az has been hitting the bar as often as Tom.
Oh, cheers. I went into a Teams call. Cheers. I went into a Teams call this morning.
Hitting the bar. Cheers.
Huh?
Drinking. Cheers. Hitting the bar. You're at the bar. Cheers.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what he means, doesn't he? He means I'm hitting the bar. I'm a pisshead.
Yeah, but then it's like banter. Sorry.
Oh, it's banter.
I thought your cheers. You didn't get that you cheersed as if you're at a bar. I thought you were then going into the help me.
You help me. Yeah.
Sorry, this is nothing to do with
I was saying
anything.
Cheers like thank you, and you were meant to cheers and then cheersing at the bar.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Anyway, Cameron, as I've triple Brighton, what have I done? That's tough.
You've gone in on the great team. I would say you'd be fine, but you probably won't be.
We will get to.
We are in trouble.
That. Calvin, evening. How are you two? Thank you for asking, Calvin. Very well. How are you? 72 this week, 2 left. Nice. Where's the adorable Ralph? Ralph is on the floor.
Is he?
Is he?
Oh, he is there.
I was like, what have I been kicking? Not kicking.
He's directly under us.
Something there.
Eleanor, are you okay? Says Ross.
Ross? No. Okay, should we get to my team? Let's get the FPL into this. So, this is how I'm doing at the moment. Let's take away Ross's comment, because there might be an intervention. 38 points. Now, let's go with the bad news. After a week of deliberation, or 2 weeks, because last game week went on forever, I eventually ended up going for Bernardo Silva, who did not play. However, there's good news, guys, because look who's on my bench first. Trippier, 7 points on the bench. I am so happy.
Yeah.
So I've now gone up to 45, did you say?
45, if that is 38 plus 7. If Bernardo had played and got 7 points, you'd be over the moon with that.
Yeah, exactly. So I would have been really happy. So I am pleased with this. Richarlison captaincy, which I didn't think was going to pay off, but thankfully it did, which again, very happy with. Still got Solanke to go, still got Areola to go. Gordon only 1 point when that assist got taken away.
I think that's the bigger scandal than Walkergate, and no one seems to be talking about it.
It's true. But I was really, really happy about it, I won't lie, because I hadn't started him. So I'm really pleased with how the game week's gone. Shall I go onto your team? Do you want to have a look at yours?
Yeah, why not? I'm on 45, same as you, but I'm out of players. That's me done.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's not been a great week.
You were very nervous ahead of the deadline, weren't you?
Well, I mean, in the end, I had Son. I was watching that South Korea game and they were losing, and I was like, oh, maybe I should just keep him. And then they equalised, and I was kind of like, okay, they're probably going to go through, and they squeaked through in the end on penalties. Squeaked. But then I was just between Maddison and De Bruyne. That's who it came down to. I think they've both got the same points. Maybe De Bruyne's outscored him by 1, something like that. So not much in it. But I've got De Bruyne with 2 extra games over Maddison. That's what swung it. So yeah, I think I'm reasonably well set up. I quite like the look of my team. I'm really annoyed about Pedro getting injured.
I know, it's so unfortunate.
He's like the main differential in this side, with a good run of fixtures, and now he might be out. So that's annoying. But yeah, it's a pretty crappy week, but I'm getting used to him now. Oh,
are you on a small red arrow?
Small red, yeah.
Should we discuss what on earth happened to Estepanian? Just defensively with Brighton, I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. 4-0 to Luton. Now, I know Luton are so much better at home. They are quite the fortress. We've seen it with Chelsea. Chelsea were ahead and they almost equalised. They're very, very good at home, and I think they've got so much to fight for. But I never in a million years did I expect Brighton to concede 4 goals, 2 in the opening. It's absolutely ridiculous.
This is about the 4th or 5th game this season in the league where we have started badly, like really, really badly. And we went to the Bournemouth game, didn't we, when Brighton played Bournemouth?
It's true.
And Brighton were awful in the first half of that game. I think it was 1-1 or something going into it, but Brighton could have been 3 or 4-0 down. I've seen them play against Burnley, absolutely awful, and then against Luton. I don't know what's going on with us. Sometimes we're just starting games terribly. And yeah, we just got absolutely destroyed after 8 minutes. And I think at half time, you can see by Stupinan coming off, De Zerbi was like, this game's done and gone.
Well, this is exactly what this... we've got a comment here as, was he dragged off at 45 for playing bad or not?
There's no playing badly because every single player could have been taken off at half time. Well,
De Zerbi said in his post-match interview, no one played well. Even the subs came on,
awful.
They didn't play well.
Every single player. I think the thing that worries me most about Stupinan is this stat here. I mean, he played 45 minutes. Look at that XGI, 0.01. Look at the 4 games he's had since he's been back. 0.11, 0.06, 0.03. I've just written a thing for Scout about...
I love it when you've just written something, because these stats...
about Van Heck. So
I love... You recommended Van Heck to come in.
I mean, look at Van Heck stats if you're looking for someone. Like, these are all right. 0.2, 0.2, 0.56. And he's, 1.1 million less. Estupinan, you can't be relying on thunderbolt goals from him every week. He's got to start, getting up the pitch a bit more. And yeah, I worry that he's a bit overpriced. I definitely wouldn't be buying him now. I think...
I wouldn't be buying him. I think I would rather go Van Heck. And that was my route if I was to do Salah to De Bruyne and then want to afford Haaland as well. It was to bring in Van Heck. But do you not think after a 4-0 battering, they might bounce back a bit for the upcoming game week? Because my plan at the moment is to play him against Palace, but then Eze suddenly had his resurgence and he came off injured, but it turns out it's not anything serious, so he should be good to go.
The biggest worry is I think we've won 3 of the last 15 and we haven't scored in 3 matches. We've won, we were winning loads of games, but even when we weren't winning, we were still scoring. We set that record of either scoring or conceding in every match. 2 0-0s and then a 4-0 loss. What is going on with the attack at the moment? I know we haven't got Adingra or Matoma, but still, and yeah, that's the problem. Because if we're going to go back to conceding goals and we're not going to be getting attacking returns, then
what's the point?
But the fixture's still really nice. So if you've got his Stupinan, you hold.
I think you do hold, and I think it's the same with João Pedro, because he's okay, isn't he? Or do we not know?
We don't know. I couldn't find anything about him last night. I was listening to it on the radio, and they said he looked like he'd gone off with a nasty foot injury. That's what they said. I can't see anything in the press conferences about him. I can't see anything in the Brighton papers or Argus saying it's serious. So just have to wait to see if we get any news from De Zerbi. But I'm only going by those commentators, and they said it looked pretty nasty. So yeah, but I just don't know.
I think I'm going to hold on until minimum Sheffield United, because Sheffield United seems like the fixture to target. But it is tough. There's quite a few people in the chat. Oh, Chris Irvine's in the chat. Good evening, Chris. I hope you're well. Niall says, good evening all. What a man Alvarez is. Oh, Niall, who did you captain this week? Niall always has really out of the box captaincy choices.
127, watching.
127, thanks guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I think I'm 15 subscribers away now from 5,000. And for my 100th video, I think I'm going to have to delete a video, so this is my 100th.
Yeah.
But we're going to eat 100 chicken nuggets to celebrate.
I mean, that's the kind of content that people want deep down. Do you reckon we can eat 100 between us?
Easy. I ate 4 chicken sandwiches the other day in 10 minutes.
This is what it's like living with Yells. We go to McDonald's.
No. We had a conversation, and as just flippantly said, he doesn't think I could eat 10 chicken sandwiches.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can. And then he said, I think you'd struggle with 4. So I was like, buy me 4.
So we went to McDonald's, and I'd kind of forgotten about this. And I made my order. The new peppercorn steakhouse, strongly recommended if anyone's anyone near McDonald's. And Toney, what do you want? 4 McChicken sandwiches.
It wasn't even like that. I was working from home and you said, I'm going to McDonald's for a cheeseburger. What do you want? And I was like, challenge
4
me.
McChicken sandwiches, yeah.
And I did it, 10 minutes.
You did.
Toney says, oh, are they a couple? Yep. Toney says, liking the look of your team.
Thanks, Toney.
Charlie's in the chat. Good evening, yelling at Az and the Harry Parkers. I like that. Can we get that as a sign for the door?
Been very good, actually.
He is. He's knackered.
He's not chewing his foot, is he?
No, he's okay.
I kicked him by accident, this one.
Bless him. Cameron says, as with your form, when does De Zerbi become a risk? Results is a form game. Yeah, if this was Chelsea, be out.
We don't sack managers like every other club.
They just
club because they've had a couple of bads. Oh, that's harsh. I mean, look, you know, we haven't sacked a manager due to poor performances in many a year, and I think you've got to look at we're still in the FA Cup, we're still in the Europa League. Mm-hmm. We've had like so many injuries this season; it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no chance he'd be sacked mid-season. I reckon, honestly, we could draw or lose every game between now and the end of the season in the Premier League, and he would keep his job until at least the end of the season. I mean, then maybe
Club
there's a
loyalty,
decision to be made,
it?
but there's no way he's getting sacked.
Slanky, Watkins, Alvarez to Haaland. Is that any of them? Because I would, to be honest, I'd hold off after seeing Haaland this evening. What do you think?
Well, I'm looking at Watkins to Haaland this week.
Watkins this week against Sheffield United.
Well, I know, but it's Haaland, isn't it? And it's Brentford. Brentford are conceding a lot of goals. I just saw Haaland today, and he doesn't look on it.
He looks like a ragdoll. But the thing is, I think I said to you while we were watching, I think we're forgetting this season he hasn't been as, I mean, still like the top, but compared to last season, he's kind of looked a bit lost. And then we saw that, I think, times 100 this evening. He gets the ball, and then he was even laughing at himself at one point.
I mean, is he going to start up front with Alvarez playing the way he is? Like, are they going to try and accommodate Alvarez and Haaland? But then you've got like Bernardo to come in. Foden's been playing really well. De Bruyne starts. Like, they don't really. They could use this opportunity to just ease Haaland back in. They've just won comfortably without him. Mm-hmm. I don't know. If he'd come on in that 20-minute cameo and scored a goal and looked red hot sharp, I think it'd be a no-brainer.
That's also been my big thing so far this season. When we had Toney back, we had De Bruyne back. Their return games, they were scored, and I kind of thought it was going to be a guarantee with Haaland. The fact that he came on and got nothing.
Yeah, I think selling Watkins before Sheffield United screams issue. You know, I've sold Watkins before and he's done well.
Although, did you see their last results against Sheffield United? I think it was a 1-1 draw with no Watkins involvement. Yeah,
it was. Yeah, good knowledge. Look at you.
Thanks.
And we all captained for that game, didn't we? I remember it well. Yeah.
Very disappointing. Eddie says, I'm on 41 points. Had Richarlison on captain. Woo! Have Areola, Garnacho, Solanke left. Who do I take out? Solanke or Watkins or Haaland next game? So you'd say Watkins.
Well, no, I don't have Solanke, so that's not an issue for me. I don't think you can take out Solanke, given that there's going to be a double dropping at some point. He's got the game in 26. Oh, that was City. I don't know. I'd say Watkins of the two. I wouldn't lose Solanke. I think he's too good. I mean, see what happens tomorrow. But
you know what does frighten me, and this is what frightened me about Saka. Watkins' ownership is ridiculous. 54%.
Yeah, I mean, he's just not hitting big hauls though, is it? This is the problem. He's got 2 goals in the last 3 games, but it's 2 goals in the last 5 as well.
In his defence, Newcastle, he did have that goal, but it was offside.
Yeah, it was close. I don't know. Villa at the moment just look a bit off the pace. I think they've tried.
We say Chat Sport here says Villa look
flat. Yeah,
I completely agree.
Well, they're bringing up Diaby. They're bringing in Bailey. I don't think they know who their strongest lineup is. The link-up play with Watkins isn't working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I like Watkins. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't say he's a priority sell, but it's Haaland, isn't it?
Oh, Toney! I've got Van Heck. Love the guy. So underpriced. Good choice. Had a Stupinian start. Hard to see Trippier on bench for 7 points. I know. And where did that come from with Trippier? I didn't expect that at all. Yeah. Elise is a better pick than Eze.
Can I just say, I love Elise. Do
you? You're going to get him?
I really want him. I just have a bit of worry about the fixtures, and I find it hard to justify bringing in a player from Palace because I just I hate them, and B, it's Roy Hodgson, isn't it? But him and Eze,
you have so much hatred to clubs. You're never like, oh, I'm not a fan. You're like, I hate them.
Just Chelsea mostly. Palace out of Brighton loyalty. My dad loves Palace. You know that? Little fact about my dad. Yeah.
A Chris fact.
Yeah.
I love it. Nice one, Niall. I captained Alvarez this week on 59 points so far with Ariel to go.
Alvarez captain is a lovely pick. Love that.
So good. Phil, tempted to sell Wood and Watkins to bring in Haaland and Awoniyi. I can never say it. I always say Taiwo. I really like that, personally. Taiwo, I wanted to discuss him. I have a slide. Subscribe to the channel because I will be discussing him in my next video. I think he's a really, really fun pick. And the fact that he came off the bench and scored, I think he's just one of those players that
he's so good.
He'll get results. And Chris Wood came off for him. Upcoming fixtures: Bournemouth away, Newcastle home, West Ham at home, Aston Villa away. I think Bournemouth away can definitely see them getting something, and then Newcastle and West Ham at home. I mean, West Ham not as tricky. Newcastle defence pretty sloppy, to be honest. And home fixtures: Forest Ground is just, what's it called? Oh my god, my brain.
Forest Ground.
City Ground.
Oh yeah.
It's completely different, and the fact that he's now back, he's going to be making up for lost time, because he was my favourite player end of last season, and then he returned this season. It was just insane. The man is absolutely on fire. I don't know whether you're necessarily going to get a massive haul out of him, but you're definitely going to have that consistency, and at 6.3 million, I need to take a breath. I'm a big fan of that, Phil. Go for it.
I love it. Good moves.
Raptor says, if you had Alvarez, do you think it's a simple switch, or maybe hang on to Alvarez and have both of them?
I don't think you can sell Alvarez for Haaland after what we've seen tonight.
No.
Alvarez was absolutely brilliant. Haaland came on and looked completely
You've had Alvarez
off
this
it.
Long.
I don't think that's a simple switch at all. I wouldn't do it personally. I mean, my season is awful, and you know, Ross is having a better season than I am, but I would feel very uneasy about selling a player who's just put in that performance for a player who's been out for months and looks completely off the pace.
Ross, I think you should follow your heart. Chris says, Foden's stinking up my team. Would you sell given the double game week?
Stinking up your team?
I think he's had two... No, he got an assist this game, didn't he? And then he's had one blank the week before. I think he's all right.
To be fair, he was awful in the first half. I say awful. He was just incredibly wide, and they were going down Doku's side every time. I mean, look at his points though. He's only had one blank in the last 4, I think it is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One blank in the last 5.
Foden's my fear.
Yeah, that's not bad. I mean, he is potentially an issue given that there's so many options available. But
his form at home as well is really good. So Brentford away, you might not have a great time, but then you've got 3 home fixtures. I think that's really, really good.
I still think he's part of the strongest City 11, so I wouldn't sell him.
Yeah, agreed. We need to get Gianni in the chat because
me and Gianni are big. Oh, did you see Maddison though today? Maddison and Mopé. Yeah. So Mopé did Maddison's dart celebration, then had a bit of a beef with Maddison, but then Spurs won the game, and Maddison did the post match interview, and they said to him, "What did you make of Mopé's, like taking the piss with the darts?" And he said, "To be honest, I don't think he's scored enough goals to get his own celebration yet."
Savage.
It's so good.
Absolutely savage.
So good.
Okay, we have got very quickly. Delia is in the chat. Good evening, Delia. Delia, did you see Delia got her shirt?
I did, yeah. Top manager of the month, was
manager
it?
Manager of the month in the Juice Legends League, I think it is. Very well done. Right, can we talk about Toney? Chris, is Toney now essential? Yes, I think he is, and I'm really excited because Toney's one of my favourite players. I absolutely love him. And again, similar to Taiwo, I think that he's fixture proof and he will just score goals. He's determined, again, making up for lost time. 8 million. His comeback so far, 8 points, 9 points. I'm guessing he's going to get bonus for this game week.
Yeah, should do. Wonderful.
I really like him, and I don't think you even need to look at the run of fixtures because if there's a goal, Toney's involved.
Well, if you've just said he's essential, so I assume he's going to be your transfer in this week then?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's rubbish. There's no way you're transferring in Toney this week.
There's no way you can eat 4 Big Macs.
With chicken sandwiches. I don't think he's essential because of the fixtures, so I'll disagree with you on that. I mean, he can score in these games, but
I wouldn't say essential. But
the next 4 games are as hard as it gets, in my opinion. 2 games against Man City.
Yeah, you wait.
Although one of them is the double, isn't it? But yeah, I don't know. It's an awful double, Liverpool City, but Man City Wolves and then a crappy double.
I think if you're following a template, then obviously not. The front 3 is very, very solid. But I think Toney is such a fun pick. I'm going to bring in either Toney or Taiwo.
So you're not bringing Haaland in?
in incoming game weeks.
But not for 22. Not for 23.
Why are you all about game week 23?
I'm just asking.
No.
You're saying no, okay.
I don't know. I haven't decided. I've got 2 days. Should we take that to my pick my team for the week? I've got a benching headache.
I just don't believe that you're going to do Solanke, Darwin or Watkins to Toney this week.
So I think I'm going to do Darwin to Haaland.
Yeah.
And then Solanke or Watkins. I think Watkins after the Sheffield United fixture, I'm going to change to either Taiwo or Toney. And then I will try and make some room for Son potentially coming back. Salah, if we get any injury update. Or Kevin De Bruyne, if I get a massive fear of missing out. Thoughts? Concerns?
I mean, benching Richarlison he's the most informed player in the league at the moment. Is a risk. But I don't know who you bench out of that. I mean,
and also now Bernardo Silva was benched, I feel like it's more likely he's going to start against Brentford.
But I'd say Richarlison's a better option than Bernardo.
But Everton, have you seen their goalkeeper? Whew.
His old club though. Back to his old club, if you believe that narrative. I don't know, that's a tricky one. Selling Darwin, that feels sad.
Or potentially I'll bench Darwin.
It's just sad, isn't it? I feel like we've been on a real journey with Darwin over the last few weeks.
I said this last game week that I feel better about selling Darwin now that he has had returns.
Yeah.
Whereas if he just left me, it's like being left on red, or you get to go and meet up with them and be like, I don't want this anymore. Do you know what I mean?
Left on red?
Yeah, when you get ghosted.
Oh, unread. I see what I mean. Yeah.
They leave you on red.
Yeah, it doesn't happen to me.
Of course. Niall says, I think Alvarez is a hold after tonight. FPL Raptor coming in with the stats. 150 people watching and 26 likes. Grotesque
150
behaviour.
people watching is amazing.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate it. Eddie says, have 2 free transfers, 2 to get in, 10.5 to spend. Team this week was Areola, Estupiñán, Trent, Porro, have 2 free transfers and 10.5 to spend. I mean, I think it depends on whether you want to go for Haaland. I feel like Haaland's going to be quite a big talking point. The thing is, because the game week's so soon, I don't know whether to just wait another game week before.
See, I think that one's quite an easy one, isn't it?
Who would you go for?
Surely you do Archer to Haaland and bench Garnacho. You got 10.5 million, so you're upgrading Archer to Haaland. I mean, that's a pretty solid transfer.
No brainer.
And it's, let's be honest, it's Manchester United. I would do that without a second thought. I think you're in a good position with that.
I thought we were going to have a bit more of a debate. But...
Oh, we can do if you want. If you disagree.
Don't fight me. Chris says Foden stopped going though with KDB and Haaland both back. I'm kicking myself a bit because I think the double was enticing me. But at the start of the season, I said the only City player I'm going to go for is Haaland because of Pep Roulette. And then the 1 week I bring in a City player and he's benched, and I think it's the same. That's one of the reasons I wasn't sure about Foden's minutes this game week, which is another reason I didn't go for him. And I think it is a bit risky. But if you've already got players, I do think it's worth holding them. And patience kind of is key a lot of the time.
I think you're buying a ticket to the explosive raffle, aren't you? That is City. So I think you have to just pick we're all going to have 3 City players for the double. So I think you just pick your 3 and stick with it. And, if you've got Walker, I imagine he's going to come back in next week. If you've got Bernardo, you stick with him. If you've got Foden, De Bruyne, Haaland, Alvarez, I think you just stick with them and don't worry about it too much.
Well, that's what Charlie said. I'm thinking of holding off Haaland, keeping Alvarez for Brentford on 55 points for Solanke and Areola to play. Captain the wrong City player and bench Gomez, such as FPL. That's good though, 55, despite going for the wrong captaincy. And I think, what you just said, what Charlie's doing, if you stick with Alvarez, if you've got him, and then you're kind of, hopefully it's a win-win, and then you can move to Haaland once we know that his minutes are more nailed.
Yeah, I just wouldn't be selling Alvarez for Haaland this week.
Yeah. FPL Freddy raises a good point. I'm sticking with Darwin, probable double in 25. Surely we should find out by the end of this week if it's going to be a double.
Well, I'm sure I heard somewhere, I think it was when I went into the Premier League studio players. I'm sure they said to me that they need to give a minimum of 3 weeks notice before they can arrange an extra fixture. We've got to be getting close to that.
Yeah,
I would have thought.
I would have thought by Friday.
I think it's they're supposed to give a month as standard, but they can go down to 3 weeks.
I think fans having to travel.
When actually is 25? 25 starts on the 17th of Feb. I can't see it.
No.
That's just over 2 weeks away.
I think if it's not announced by the end of this week,
I agree. Yeah.
it won't
I
be.
don't think it's going to happen personally, but
I like this. Toney says I'm on the Toney train.
clever.
That's fun. We've got quite a few questions about Walker, and Delia has said, can someone explain to me why so many people love Walker? He has no attacking return that I know. He does. City almost always concede, and most importantly, he's unfaithful. Fair enough, Delia. I was a little bit disappointed because I was going to bring in Walker 2 game weeks ago. I went for Sleever instead. Then Walker, did he get an assist? And then the following week a clean sheet, or vice versa. And I was kicking myself. But then when this scandal came out and then he did the interview with The Sun, I thought, Pep's not going to like this. And I think he's in a very, very sticky situation. So the whole benching situation, it doesn't really surprise me. But I can see the appeal of Walker. Was it? Yeah, it's game week 21. He got the assist. And then game week 20, Sheffield United at home, kept a clean sheet. And I think also people are just eyeing up City players that they think are the most nailed ahead of the double.
Yeah.
I
mean, it's the reason why people want him is because they've got a double in 25. They've got Brentford, they had Burnley today, Brentford, Everton, and then Bournemouth, and then Manchester United. These are great fixtures. He's been playing every minute. Like in game week 20, that was the first time he hasn't played 90 all season. And I know City haven't been keeping clean sheets, but their defensive data is amongst the best in the league. So there's a lot of pluses to him, but yeah, the unfaithful stuff is bad.
Yeah.
No doubt.
And can you imagine Pep? Oh, God.
Yeah, Pep does not want his players in the news dealing with off-field issues.
Also,
like
that is off-field issues upon off-field issues. I've never heard of someone with a life like that. That's crazy.
It's mad.
I saw Eddie Casey says, I see FPL Harry brought in Eze to his team last minute of deadline. I was watching his deadline stream. I was flicking between so many. And that was just, what a punt. That was so, so good. Harry is so good. Mark Southerns is in the chat. Any news on Walker for game week 23? Private DMs open. Thanks, Mark. If you can get us involved in any...
Mark, if you could get me into this Illuminati content creator chat, that'd be really helpful. I didn't hear bloody anything about Walker.
My favourite tweet was someone had a go at Az, and Az was like... Half an hour before the deadline, I was stressed about Son or De Bruyne.
Yeah,
you were so far from the
this was way out of my my thing. Yeah.
Oh my goodness, the FPL king. First we've had Mark Southerns, then we've got Dow in the house.
Nope, not talking to Dow. He should have turned up for the FPL Juice 5-a-side league, put his name in the hat, was put into the black box team, didn't show up.
Well, there you have it. Raptor says, they said last season they would give a minimum of 4 weeks for fans. It's 3 weeks today until their fixture would be played.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I just don't think there's not enough time to arrange it. So, yeah. I mean, it might do. You never know, but I think it's very unlikely.
Oh, Wade Wilson's in the chat as well. Hi. Captain Foden instead of Alvarez worries me. Oh, it's a tough... I think, though, Alvarez for me would have been the biggest risk with Haaland coming back. So I'd have been quite worried.
Do you know what? Fair. Anyone who went for Alvarez, and I accuse Andy Teach Mode, of being a boring template manager. He's made some good calls the last 2 weeks. He went for Palmer the other week when we were all worried because they were the first fixture, and he's done well off that. And he's gone for Alvarez captain this week. Fair play. Foden was the safer pick, and he's got blown out of the water by Alvarez. So yeah, at least we got. I went for Foden as well, so at least we got something.
FPL Raptor says, can't believe you're joking about such a sensitive matter, Mark. I hope you and your private group
You're in it, Ross. Don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Ross, you're part of the big
You
five.
are the Illuminati.
You're the one that feeds the information. It's all in that head. PhD. Just hanging around outside clubs. Where was a message that I saw? Yeah, and I stuck to the plan and went all in on Bernardo Silva. It did not go well. 15 points in next
Who's
week
the
for our
vice?
teams, please.
Please say the vice was someone good.
We can look it up, can't we? Look at me.
Oh, well, you learned this last week, didn't you?
I know. Where's the message? 206. Blimey.
It's going to Pedro Porro.
Oh,
no. I looked at Alvarez. I looked at Saka. I looked at Watkins, and then no.
You know what though? Hats off to you because I was so close to doing Bernardo.
Porro vice
captaincy.
and Palmer off the bench for Bernardo. That sucks.
Oh, that is. I like that team name. You dirty slot. If it's not going to happen, does that mean we save triple captain in case of a triple game week for Salah? I mean, the thing is, it might work in our favour that actually Salah will have better fixtures and he'll be back and he'll be fit and we'll be aware that he is back and fit. Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, there could be a triple game week for Salah, because if Liverpool progress to the later stage of the FA Cup, which I think we're expecting them to do, and if they progress into the late stages of the Europa League, which we're expecting them to do, there are actually very few. This is what Planet FPL was saying. There are very few midweek slots left to book in another game, and it could actually be, if Liverpool get into these late stages, that we do see them have to schedule a game in, which would make a triple game week.
Woo!
Which would be absolutely nuts. So, I mean, again, if an opportunity arises to use your triple, like if Haaland is back and fit and firing, and he's got 2 home games against Brentford and Chelsea,
it feels like a no-brainer.
I still think that is probably the best time to use it. But if there are still doubts about his minutes, and Alvarez is playing well, there's all these other options, then maybe we do keep it.
Talking of doubts.
No, that's a very good link.
Thank you. Thoughts on Doughty, guys. I was talking about him on Juice, and I must say, when I'm on Juice, because Ash is there, I just become like a massive Luton fan. Because I think one time I slagged off Luton, he gave me this look that was so sad, and I was like, oh, now I'm...
I messaged him last night and was like, oh my God, what's happened there? And he sent me back like 2 question marks.
He must have been so alarmed.
And I was like, what are you talking about? And then he phoned me, and I was like, our teams? And he's like, oh yeah, gutted. I was like, cheers, mate.
Doughty is a little
he's brilliant.
silver fox. 4.5 million. I mean, Newcastle away, tricky, but I quite want to get a Luton player for the Sheffield United fixture, and especially it's Luton at home. That could be high scoring.
I know we all have these players that like get away from us, and every week people are saying, not to name them, but some people are like, I didn't have X, I didn't have Y, all that kind of stuff. Doughty for me this season, he could have been on the wall. Because do you remember game week 3 or 4?
Oh no!
I like it was him or Kabore, and I was like, Doughty's a little bit more. I'll just go for Kabore. And I asked Ash, and Doughty wasn't really in the team yet, but he had amazing chances created for the minutes.
Was that the Doughty stat that you found? I swear there was something like more obvious.
Yeah, he's had the most crosses in the league of all players, and he was putting those in like early on, but there was like worries about his team. Because Luton have got another player, Edwards, I think it might be. Who had the place, and Ash wasn't confident that there was going to be enough minutes for him, which was fair enough. But I didn't go for him, and it's like that could have been a real season changer, like if I'd gone for him, because the last 4 or 5 weeks he's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, and I really like him at 4.5 million.
Good pick.
Dan the Man says, plan with Saka to Gordon this week, still good. Got 2 free transfers, could do Alvarez and Darwin to Toney and Haaland. What do you think? So I personally, I think we discussed it last week on our live stream. Taking out Saka is just such a risky move because he's nailed for 90 minutes. He's on penalties. And recent game weeks, he's actually not done too badly. For 9.1 million, you do want those double-digit hauls. But I was talking about how he hadn't had one since game week 6. And then now he whipped out a 10-pointer, scored a goal. I think it's too risky. Personally, I don't think if you've got another player I love Gordon, I would definitely try and find a way to get him into your team. He's one of my favourite players this season, plus he's got a home fixture coming up and he's so much better at home, but I don't think Saka's the one to take out.
I just think, again, we talked about it before, I always want to have an Arsenal player. I think they're going to be right up there. I mean, it's going to be really interesting, City, Liverpool and Arsenal this year, who's going to win the league. I think it could be any of them. I think City are obviously the favourites now because they've got all their players back. But Arsenal are going to be up there. Saka, in some ways, hasn't had a great season. He's probably still going to get close to 200 points, though, if he carries on the way he is. I just think he's an easy hold. I don't know why people are looking to move him on.
He's one that I don't even consider. Last week I was tempted to take him out, but now he's just kind of there. Similar to Watkins, hoping he'll just tick along.
I think I don't think there's going to be a period where he just blanks every week. I think he's just constantly going to be chipping away with returns, and I think even though he's 9 million, you keep him. I wouldn't sell him personally.
You Dirty Slot said, can't believe Raptor bottled it and didn't captain Darwin like he said. I know, he says he's going to follow the wheel, then the wheel gives him some obvious clues. And
did the wheel tend to captain Darwin?
Yeah, twice.
Oh, Ross.
He said he'll follow it, and then he didn't.
That is a bigger scandal than Walkergate.
Mark says, I'm through the guilt and despair phase now. Ross have hit delirium.
can confirm after talking to Mark earlier. That is true.
Did you give me any inside information?
Yeah, loads.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but I just disregard it because, yeah.
Dow has said, I'm here for the first time as I've missed loads of streams, but Az hasn't welcomed me at all. You'll get used to that, Dow. If you play on his five-a-side team, you'll be the best of friends.
Absolutely.
Dan the Men says, I could take out Bernardo, who I just got this week. You know what? With the Pep Roulette apparently coming back, I would be tempted. I prefer Gordon over Bernardo. But the double, it's really hard. It's really, really tough.
I think you give Bernardo this week. I mean, depending on who else is in your team. You know, if you're moving Bernardo to like... I don't even know. I don't even know who to target at the moment. It's really difficult. Gordon looks a great pick. He's going to be playing up front if Isak's out as well. Will I move Bernardo to Gordon? Maybe.
I mean,
I don't know. I'd be skeptical about it. The thing is with Bernardo is I don't see him as like the best FPL asset. He's been good because he starts and he's been quite.
He's also good away from home, which is why I'm quite tempted to keep him for Brentford.
But Gordon with Luton at home, that's a great fixture.
Luton at home, Forest away, Bournemouth at home. And home fixtures, every game apart from one, he's had an attacking return. I mean, Gareth says best option out of Gordon, Eze, Elise. I think Eze is kind of the shiny new toy at the moment, and if he keeps up momentum, I would be very, very tempted by him. I was burnt by him at the start of the season, so I feel a bit bitter.
I just don't trust
Gordon.
Palace.
No, I don't. Gordon is my number one, but I was going to say I feel biased about that.
Yeah.
So as a non-Gordon owner,
I think Gordon's the one to get, especially if he's playing up front. The fixtures are really nice. But I just have a real soft spot for Elise. I just think he's... Like, in the summer, Palace are going to lose Eze and Elise. And I just think either of those players could play at any team in the league. It's going to be so interesting to see where they go. Like, Elise could do such a good job at, like, Spurs or any team. He could go to City and probably play. Like, he's just so good. Any of them's good. I'd probably go Gordon... Eze's got pens, hasn't he? So yeah, probably Gordon, Eze, Elise, but I do have a soft spot for Elise.
We're going to have to head off soon because I do have work in the morning. So these late nights. FPL should change the rules to get a point for hitting the woodwork.
Agreed.
We would be top 10k with Darwin in our teams. We'd be absolutely smashing
Instead,
it.
Darwin just gets absolutely slammed on the BPS for missing a chance, yeah.
Tony says, gotta say, on a poor night for the Blues, you guys have massively cheered me up. Very pleased to hear it. Thank you, Tony. I will be honest, watching that Chelsea game, I didn't really want to stream, but we'd already committed, and I'm glad we did, because I'm trying to forget about that performance. Dal says, would appreciate your help, guys. Ranked 262k. Would you wildcard this team? I wouldn't wildcard yet before looking at your team.
I definitely wouldn't wildcard looking at his team. You've got... I mean, the only issue there is cash. Just get rid of cash.
Yeah. Yeah, Dal, I think you're fine. Don't panic. Delia, good reminder. Do like the stream if you haven't already. FPL chat. What are your guys' thought on wildcard for 23 or 24 if we don't get news on a double for Liverpool? I'm just anti it. Unless your team is absolutely doomed, I'm going to hold on to my wildcard for as long as possible.
I just don't know why you'd use it in 23, 24. We've got enough transfers to bring in 3 City. I mean, if there's no double for Liverpool, you're bringing in 3 City and Toney. And that's it, right? There's no one else that you really need. A lot of us are going to have at least 1 City already. So, no, I think you wildcard, you dead end your team up until 29 and then wildcard after that.
Yeah.
That is the best strategy, I think.
Hey, this makes me feel better. Rodri was on 2 bones down, nailed for the double, but sticking to Bernardo myself. I shall too. Tony says, just brought in Elise for his 16-pointer.
Wow.
Nice. We're going to finish up on Dan the Man's question, which is, have we ever had a triple game week? Yes, we have. When was it?
We've had...
I'm aware.
I believe we've had 2. One was the famous Nikola Zigic, if you remember him. Birmingham City had a triple game week, and Zigic got a hat-trick of 1s when we all captained him. And then the flip of that was we had Manchester United had one, and Bruno Fernandes got like 29 points or something. That was a few seasons ago when he was good. But yeah, I think it's just been those 2.
Well, there you have it, my friends. Dow has just said, I think I messed up as I got rid of Saka and don't have a lot of players to keep my rank safe each week. Do you get me? Get you, Dow.
It's not about keeping your rank safe, Dow. You've got to push on, but you shouldn't have sold Saka.
I think you're going to be like, but you should have stood me up. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. Oh, Delia, I thought my team did well. I'm joking. Yeah, the one thing I will say, I was talking to someone, I can't remember who it was, or I might have tweeted someone, but they were disheartened about their team. And then I was like, at the end of the day, it's a game, and I think sometimes there's too much pressure online that you need to be top 10k, top 100k, and people forget to have fun. And that's one of the reasons I went for Bernardo Silva, because you drummed some sense into me. I was going to go for Foden, and I was like, actually, if Foden was to get an assist or a goal, would I care? No. If Bernardo Silva did, I would be so excited. And as it's worked out, Bernardo didn't come on, and then I'm getting Trippier 7 points off the bench, and I'm over the moon about it.
See, I just knew that was going to happen. I'm like Nostradamus.
Well, where were you for the Estupinian?
Yeah, I know. my powers only go so much. I'm a bit like Mark with Walker. I know one player, not anymore.
But yeah, thank you so much everyone for watching. Do remember to have fun with the game. At the end of the day, it's a game and we are all bonding over it, and the true game and the true winnings are the friendships made along the way.
Wow, that is a message.
Any final words?
No. See you all. We're on holiday next week, so we'll see you in a few weeks.
Yeah, we will see you in a few weeks. Bye guys.